I've been practicing semen retention, God mode, total eradication of lust, for a little over 7.5 months now, consecutively. And if you've been retaining for any length of time, you can attest to the benefits. If anybody says that retention is placebo, that it's all in your mind, either has never tried retaining or they're kidding themselves. It's so much easier to just scratch that itch, right? It's so much easier to engage in empty, lustful behavior that drains your energy, that turns you into a shriveled, pale raisin. But it's so easy to fall into that hole that doesn't have a bottom. But if you've been retaining, you know that it's so much better, that you can actually strive for something. You can discover your passion. Because now you've been retaining, you've been cultivating your life force energy, not just letting it flow out of you at the first sign of tension or angst, but you're holding it in and you're using it to become the version of yourself, the most effective version of yourself, to fulfill the will of God in your life. You can transmute this aimless, empty pleasure, this PMO. And if you're in a relationship, if you're married, you can turn this into real passion with your woman. Intimacy. Many times after a long shift at work, when I was in a relationship, it was so easy at the end of the day to just release on my time without bothering anybody. Just quick, it's over. But what does that do in the relationship? If I'm constantly artificially stimulating myself with my calloused man hand instead of loving, embracing, and being there for my woman. When you have these lustful images burnt into your mind, going around and being authentic with people, especially with your woman, it's quite difficult. But when you retain, when you forego this pleasure, and you develop passion in your life, either with your woman or as a single man, fulfilling that desire that you've always had. Either way, you're foregoing lust, following passion. What did you want to do when you were younger? What did your child self want to fulfill, want to accomplish? I doubt it was to sit in a dark room. Get back in the silence. Let go of the lustful, impulsive thoughts that permeate our minds when we can't let go of this behavior. But stop. Let the silence come in. And in that silence, in that presence with God, you will find what that purpose is, what that passion is. It's very easy to get caught up in the fact that retention isn't necessarily an end goal. You don't practice retention with a specific end date in mind. At least I didn't. You might have a goal to get to a specific number of days. But ultimately, this is something that I don't want to ever give up. This is a lifestyle. This is a habit. Regardless of if I'm single or if I ever get into a relationship. can't see myself letting go of this life force. Find out what that passion is. Is it helping others? Is it working out? You may find that many friends start to fall off as you begin this journey. I know they did when I quit drinking. All of my friends that I would go drink with stopped hanging out with them because all we had in common was drinking. And it hurt at first a little bit because I didn't really understand the process. I didn't really know what was going on. But then I realized that it was opening up space. It was opening up opportunity for me to fulfill that passion, to cultivate friendships, relationships that are actually helping propel me in the direction that I want to go. It's a completely different feeling. We live in a society, we live in a culture that really promotes this superficial, instant gratification, pleasure seeking, tension releasing. Helps the prostate too, doesn't it? Might seem abstract to men that haven't been practicing the concept of what it might feel like to have a full sack. It's incredible. This underlying energy, this hum. No longer are you caught up in other people's opinions about yourself. No longer are you staring at the ground as you walk amongst people. No longer are you clouded in vision, clouded in mind, but you're confident. You're exuding masculinity. See, we think of masculinity as something external. Well, if only I am perceived as masculine, then I'm masculine. But do you feel masculine? Getting a big truck isn't going to make you masculine. Getting all sorts of accessories or looking a certain way, a certain haircut, isn't going to make you more masculine. Feeling masculine, being masculine will make you masculine. And I guarantee you, brothers, constantly releasing yourself is not a masculine behavior. It doesn't matter how many bells and whistles you have on you. If you're touching yourself, you're kidding yourself. I encourage you, brothers, if you're looking for a level of accountability, if you have realized that many of your friendships have fallen off, to join the Sons of God Brotherhood, there is a link in the description down below. Surround yourself with people of like mind. Surround yourself with people that are pushing themselves, that are embodying the best version of themselves. Because they've realized that there are certain behaviors that they've been partaking in that don't serve them. They've acknowledged this. There's also one-on-one mentoring available, but I encourage you, if you're watching content like this, you know, the pleasure leads to nowhere. It's just scratching an itch. You know that developing your passion is what's going to get you to where you want to be. So continue your journey. Join a community. But most of all, retain. Thank you for watching. God bless, and may peace be with you.